let's start with Kevin Durant. I know Durant's not even playing, but Shaq put it out there. All right, Shaq goes ahead and puts a tweet on his Instagram story that somebody else tweeted, and it said Kevin Durant's accomplishments since he left Steph. 1 blank, 2 blank, 3 blank, the end. What a diss. And I don't agree with that with Shaq. I think Durant's played well, and he's had some things that aren't his fault. Harden, Kyrie, and all that go wrong. However, Shaq is addressing, guys, what is really the elephant in the room when you talk about KD. We know that many superstars and just people in general, they have a mental asterisk by his 2 rings. Heck, Clyde Frazier said there's a literal asterisk by his 2 rings, all right? And if the Golden State goes on to win this championship, or even get to the finals, but certainly win the championship, without KD, basically Jordan Poole replacing Kevin Durant, and you win the championship, that is just going to make that sentiment even stronger until Kevin Durant can win a ring in Brooklyn, if he even can. And so he's under a lot of pressure, even though he's sitting home watching the games like us. All right, at number 4, Draymond Green. Now, I know Draymond is not the primary defender on Luka. Last night, he only guarded him on 2 shots. Luka was 0 for 2 against Draymond. However, Draymond Green is the key. He is the linchpin to that defense. And Draymond has said this, guys, in the past, that he thinks he is the best defender ever to play in the NBA. Best defender to pick up a basketball. All right? And so if you're saying that, and you are the key to your team's defense, if Luka lights you up and wins the series, it's going to reflect more on Draymond than Andrew Wiggins, who is the primary defender, and any other defender on the Warriors. So Luka can get his and light him up, but if he wins, that's the key. If he wins the series and does it, that's going to reflect poorly on Draymond. All right, number 3, Jenna, you've been teasing it, Chet Holmgren. And I like Chet. I do. You can be confident, but my goodness, this reminds me, sadly, of one Adam Morrison, also a Gonzaga player in the past, who was a 3rd pick. Michael Jordan took him. And he said in a commercial for EA Sports, I believe, that there's going to be a lot of people crying when I get to the NBA. Like, he's going to be taking dudes' lunch money wads, as you said, breaking ankles, taking names, the whole 9. There was a lot of people crying, all right, and every single one of them was in Charlotte, starting with Michael Jordan. That's where the crying meme came from.
That's
Jordan, that's what he was crying about. All right? And so, just look, I like Chet. I want you to believe in yourself, but show respect where it's due to these ballers in the NBA. All right, at number 2, we are sticking with the association, sticking with the Warriors, in fact, Steph Curry. Now, you might say, well, Steph Curry? Yeah, Steph Curry. I know his legacy is written and his legacy is, well, it's set. He can go higher, but it's set where it is. But if he loses to Luka, a young 23-year-old who's coming for him in this series, I think it could reflect poorly on Steph. All right? And some people still try to take it away from him that he won his last 2 rings with Durant, and Durant was the best player on the team. That Steph doesn't have a finals MVP. This is his chance to get that elusive finals MVP. And so I do think there's pressure on Steph. He's got 2 other stars with him, right? At least Clay, Draymond, Poole's playing well. Wiggins is now, Nick respects Wiggins. And Luka's by himself as far as star power. So Steph's got to take this one home. All right, at number 1, my man, Jayson Tatum. And I believe in him. You know it's about motivation, guys. But he even said it himself that this one's on me. After game 1, that loss was on him. He just entered club superstar. All right, Nick boots people out left and right. I mean, Chris Paul's about to get kicked out. Anthony Davis got kicked out last week. He's looking for a reason to kick somebody out.
No.
So, Jayson, you got to show up tonight. I think you will. And that's why he's number one on the Bud list, Nick.
All right, don't defame club superstars' admissions or denial policy. We don't let people in and immediately kick them out. That would show an error on our behalf on who we let in. So read the bylaws. You're so familiar with the first things first bylaws. Maybe brush up on the club superstar bylaws, my friend, before you defame the club just because you're mad you didn't make the board of directors. I'm going to add Nick Saban. Nick Saban, zip it, pal. Quit your whining.
Give me a break.
Nick Saban yesterday talked about Texas A&M bought all their players, threw shots at Deion Sanders and Jackson State. Let me tell you what's actually happening. So Nick says Alabama since 2011, 12 recruiting classes. 9, according to 24/7 Sports, have been number 1. 2 were number 2, and 1 was all the way down at number 5. So why is Nick Saban worried about the NIL rules? Well, because it'll hurt Alabama's recruiting? Yeah, maybe a little bit. This whole idea of, oh my God, all the best players are going to go to one school now because of the money. Well, that's how it's always been. But the real reason these coaches are so concerned about the NIL rules, and so many of them are chirping about it, is because they understand what so much of the media has failed to recognize. There is only so much money in this pot for college football. And now that some of it is going to players, eventually that is going to affect coaches' salary. If a program has previously $50 million from the institution and the boosters, they're going to use that to build the facilities and to pay the coach. But now it's build the facilities, pay the coach, and some of that booster money is going to the players. That's going to eventually be money out of the coach's pockets. So this idea that they're worried about the bastardization of amateur athletics or an unfair playing ground, stop it. The Ohio State, Georgia, Alabama have gotten the best recruiting classes every year pre-NIL. If anything, it'll cause more parity. This is what it always is about, who's getting the money. And Saban and his ilk are concerned that some of that money might go to the proletariat players rather than the bourgeoisie coaches. So enough. I don't want to hear it. I'm sounding a little old school radio guy. Zip it, be quiet, shut your mouth, Saban. But that's how I feel. Enough of the whining about the players getting paid. Saban's on the Bud list.
Wow. Okay. You know what? I'm going to respectfully disagree with that take. Even though the Bud list is an inspiration, not an indictment. I think Saban was upset that Texas A&M got a bunch of NIL deals, and they got the number 1 recruiting class, and Alabama was number 2. But I also think Nick Saban is like it's like those Airbnb cabins that you see that are like next to a beautiful stream. I think Nick Saban can take down a glass full, an empty glass, and just go down into the well and be like, more delicious booster money, glug, 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 I'm all good. So I don't think he's worried about that at all. I'll tell you who should be worried, however. Oh, the Utah Jazz. Oh, Jenna earmuffs. Danny Ainge. I don't quite know your role there, to be honest with you, but you should be worried. You know why? After another unceremonious playoff exit, there is grumblings that maybe Donovan Mitchell is not only unhappy with Rudy Gobert, maybe he's unhappy with the entire Utah organization. Maybe he wants to come home. And if I was the Utah Jazz on social media every morning, logging in and seeing, oh no, what's the latest Donovan loves New York meme, video, or picture we have to deal with? First, it was Donovan going to the Rangers game. What's the MSG atmosphere like? Oh, guess what? It's wonderful. This is from Donovan's Instagram. And then last night, his father, of course, works with the Mets. He went to the Mets games, loves the Mets, talking to Lindor, hanging out. So, Broussard, at this point, I don't even think I should be worried about it. It doesn't even feel like that big of a prediction that Donovan's headed here. He's literally at MSG. He's going to Mets games. I just think make the call, Danny, or call Leon Rose, who, by the way, was Donovan's former agent. Let's get it done. Let's get those Mitchell 45 Knicks jerseys printed up. I'm ready to go. Let's go, Utah.
All right, you know what, guys? Good additions, very good additions. Here's what I'll say. While Donovan Mitchell clearly seems the one out of Utah, and I get it. He wants to be somewhere else. But if they open up to trading him, and Nick knows this, other teams can make much better offers than the New York Knicks.
Go.
That's the problem that you face with Donovan. Well, I don't know that he's Knicks or bust. I think they're number one, but I don't think he's Knicks or bust. Second, Nick, I love your Saban. I disagree with you, Wilds. I love Nick Saban take. I do agree. I don't think it's going to affect coaches' salaries necessarily. Because remember, the NCAA and these schools aren't yet paying the players. This is coming from outside sources, right? Marketers, companies, corporations, all that. But for Saban, I like Saban. He's a great coach. But this is ridiculous. This is beneath you, Nick Saban. Real talk. I'm not even trying to be funny. This is beneath you, this complaining about the NIL. The other schools, Texas A&M, you accuse them of working with boosters to get them to pay the players NIL money. It's not illegal. It's no different than a college working with different companies and corporations to give internships to their students. That's all this is in a little different way.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.